Okay, I'm going to be demonstrating a before and during strategy known as pre-write questions. And also incorporated into this, I'm going to demonstrate a strategy that uses post-it notes, which is pretty self-explanatory. Okay, pre-write questions is both a before and during activity in which you assign to the students to begin with to find the reading material they're going to be using, and they're basically going to skim through the material and look for questions that they think the material is going to answer. So we're going to turn into this book into chapter 1, and we're going to just skim through and write down questions that we think that it's going to answer. And this, what the benefit of this is it gives them just an introduction to the material, and it lets the way we learn is by forming neural pathways in the brain and then reinforcing those pathways with each time. So by going through just in a preliminary act and looking at what it covers, it gives them a basis for anticipation. So let's go through here, and we can just skim through. The study of chemistry is the first thing it says, and some of the questions, and some of them are going to be easy for the kids, and that's fine. It can be easy. So right here, one of the questions: why study chemistry? And you'll have gone through these procedures with the kids before, so they'll know what they're doing after they've done this once or twice. They're writing these questions as they skim through. Classifications of matter. So the question they might get from that is, how is matter classified? And they're not looking for answers right now. They're just kind of familiarizing themselves with the text and anticipating what they might be. Properties of matter. So they can look at this little section and see, and of course they've had some exposure to this in earlier grades, but they can write down a question they might think, what are the properties of matter? So let's do one more, and then we'll move on to the next part of it. We'll skip that one, units of measurement. We'll go on to the next one. To make it symbolic, they would have wrote a question here. We're just going for examples here. So, uncertainty in measurement. So we'll expect a little more of our students. Instead of just saying what is uncertainty in measurement, we'll expect them to ask a question like, how is uncertainty determined? Now, as you can see at this rate, it might take them a little bit of time, 10 or 15 minutes perhaps, to go through a chapter of material like this and write down questions and pre-write questions they anticipate that will be answered during this text. So the next part of it, that's the before part. The next part of it is going to involve because this pre-write questions is both a before and a during activity. The next part is going to involve answering the questions. So in this part, they're going to go through a lot slower, and look for the answers that they wanted to answer. So the first question they wrote down is, why study chemistry, which is exactly what it says right here. So they'll actually have to read this and try to determine an answer. And this is the part where I think that the sticky notes are a great thing, because I know, for example, in the school that I'll be working in, they don't get a book per student. We have a classroom set, so we don't want them writing in the books, and that's going to be common to a lot of public schools. So these post-it notes are a great thing that they can use in conjunction with other during activities. So if they find an answer that they want to write down, they can put a post-it note on that page, or even leave it sticking out a little bit to be a tab marker for the answer, and write down the answer that they're looking for. So they could write down states of matter, how is matter classified. They could write states of matter and write down the different states of matter, or other information that they determine to be relevant from the text, which you could also guide as a teacher as far as going by the TEKS and letting them know ahead of time what kind of information they're going to be looking for. So in a nutshell, I think that the pre-writing questions are a great thing because it gives them anticipation of what they're going to be looking for. It gives them a reason to not just skim the chapter mindlessly, but to skim it actively, looking for questions that they're going to be wanting to have the answers for. And then when they go back and read the chapter, they will actually be looking for answers to questions that hopefully they've had a chance to develop a basis of curiosity in their mind, having skimmed it previously. So that's pretty much it. The BDA activity, the before and during activity of pre-writing questions, and the during activity of post-it notes. Thank you.